This is Q13 News This Morning.
It is just about 7 o'clock now on your Thursday. Good to have you here. I'm Bill Wixie.
I'm Liz DeWicki. MJ following a rainy forecast once again this morning. Hi there.
Right, we're getting a little break this morning, but there is more rain on the way. But it's dry right now. 45 in Seattle, well above our normal low of 37. A little fuzzy out there. We've got fog in places, but I just want to show you what a dry radar looks like. Hey, there's a little bit of rain offshore, but so far we're dry, and we will be until this afternoon. And then our evening commute looks like a super soaker. 50 for the high in Seattle, 51 Tacoma, close to normal. Upper 40s, Everett, Bremerton, and Bellingham. Kind of breezy in Everett, windy in Bellingham. So the farther north you are, the more windy it is. It's dry in your neighborhood right now, but do not go out without your jacket with the hood. Pack the sunglasses. We could see some sun before that rain moves on board. And there's your sunset today, 5:07 p.m. Sunrise still about 35 minutes away. All righty, Adam, what's going on with that commute?
Well, let's have a gander what's going on specifically 405 northbound, right through the Renton curves into Kennydale and Newcastle. The bog downs just kind of continue to sock in. Did have some earlier troubles on I-5 to Mercer. Looks like the collision that was on the off-ramp is now clear. Tacoma also had its trouble points. Northbound I-5 at the Puyallup River Bridge, now clear. The Valley Freeway and 512 out of Puyallup continue to roll tougher as drivers make their way north. Valley Freeway, I-5 18 up to 516 into South Center. Yes, there is pressure here, but it's not off the charts. Today actually feels very, very normal, very, very manageable. South 5, South 405. We're holding it a little steadier to the county line, but I think you got this. Guys, back over to you.
New this morning, the White House has launched a task force to monitor and prevent the spread of coronavirus that has sickened people in 22 countries now. It will also ensure that Americans have accurate and up-to-date health and travel information. This morning, another person is in isolation and being tested for the virus here in Western Washington.
Yeah, Harborview Medical Center says the patient showed up last night. John Hopperstad, live outside of Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. John, what do we know about this case?
Well, we're told this person walked into Harborview here with some sort of respiratory illness. So as you mentioned, they placed him in isolation, and now we are awaiting tests to see if this person does indeed have the coronavirus. We're also awaiting tests on one of 3 University of Washington students still. 2 of them came back negative. And of course, we were at Northwest Hospital yesterday where there was a patient in isolation there as well. We are awaiting tests on that person. Only one confirmed coronavirus case here in Washington State. That's a man in his 30s in Snohomish County, and he is still at Providence Medical Center in isolation there. But we are told he's in satisfactory condition, as is the person here at Harborview this morning. Meanwhile, if you go to the airport, you're going to see some signs warning you about coronavirus. The airport added to the list of U.S. airports with extra health screening checkpoints. All have CDC quarantine stations as well. But Governor Jay Inslee is calling for even tougher coronavirus screenings at SeaTac. He says passengers arriving anywhere from China should have their temperatures taken and provide information on their recent health history before they're allowed to enter our state.
We're hopeful that the CDC looks at these additional screening things. We think that they're reasonable, and we hope that the federal government will adopt that protocol in our airport from places where there have been human-to-human transmission from China. And we think that's the right thing to do.
Now, this virus can spread from person to person. So far, there is no vaccine for it yet, although they are working on that in China as we speak. The State Department of Health, though, is warning anyone if you've traveled from Wuhan, China, and you are showing symptoms like a fever or difficulty breathing or a bad cough, you should contact your medical provider as soon as possible. Of course, this person walking into Harborview last night with some of these symptoms, still waiting tests to see, though, if they do indeed have coronavirus. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
In the last 24 hours, 38 more people have died in China, which is where the virus originated. Despite the shocking numbers, we are getting new perspective this morning from the World Health Organization that this strain of the coronavirus may not be as deadly as, say, SARS or MERS. I want to show you this info here. Doctors with the WHO say so far the death rate from coronavirus is about 2%. But compare that to SARS or MERS. They have much higher death rates. SARS kills 10% of those who contract it. MERS is about 35%. Doctors say those who have died from coronavirus so far tend to be older people with underlying ailments. However, Doctors say there is still urgency to control the spread of coronavirus because a 2% mortality rate could be much worse if the virus were to spread more widely.
Today, Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan taking some steps to raise awareness about the dangers of fentanyl. This is a highly potent synthetic drug, often mixed with other drugs, and it's far more deadly than heroin and is linked to a rise in overdoses and opioid-related deaths. Mayor Durkan holding a press conference at 10:15 this morning to announce some new city actions on fentanyl, so we're monitoring that.
A park in Tacoma's Hilltop neighborhood is expected to reopen today after officials closed it to clean up a homeless camp. I want to show you a look at People's Park from earlier this month. At one point, more than 36 tents covered the park on Martin Luther King Jr. Way. And this morning, crews are set to remove fencing around the park. So the Metropolitan Development Council hosting a community meeting next week to talk about temporary shelter for the homeless. The meeting Tuesday afternoon at 1 at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church.
Right now, thousands of Swedish Providence healthcare workers are on the picket lines for a third day. Allie Bradley tracking the developments from the live desk this morning. Allie?
Yeah, good morning, Bill. So nearly 8,000 Swedish Providence nurses and hospital workers are back on the picket lines for the third day this morning. We want to give you a live look here at Swedish Medical in First Hill in Seattle. You can see their nurses, caregivers, staff, they're all out there calling for better contracts. The union says over the past 2 days, almost all of the caregivers have participated in the strike and a majority have walked picket lines across 7 campuses. Some of the workers say the union hasn't been working hard enough to inform members about negotiations, but union representatives are rebutting accusations that they aren't working hard enough. They say in part, quote, "We're in this position right now because bargaining failed. We are too far apart, the union and management. Our bargaining team is trusted by our colleagues and was voted in to be their voice and speak on their behalf. They will attempt to return to work tomorrow, but the union says management has threatened to lock workers out for an additional 2 days. So again, these Swedish workers are in their third day of strike this morning, so we'll continue to follow this for you. But that's the latest here from the live desk. Liz, we'll send it back over to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. 7:06 this morning here, and new this morning, a historic Thurston Courthouse getting a facelift. According to the Olympian, the $3.5 million restoration project aims to make the old Thurston County Courthouse safer. A senior project manager telling the Olympian that assessments revealed cracks in the exterior sandstone and that while the building was in good structural condition, the stone was not adequately connected to the structure. It likely would not be able to withstand a major earthquake. The project is expected to be finished by the end of the spring. All right, 7:07 this morning here. I'm Jay with a check of our traffic, our weather, excuse me. Hi.
Yeah, 45 in Seattle right now. Looking down from Capitol Hill, you can see that there's clouds in the way, or fog, low clouds, and that's the only thing going on weather-wise that's really a problem. Basically, we're pretty quiet out there, but it's colder. For 34 in Bellingham, 34 Shelton, 34 also in Forks right now, and 37 at Joint Base Lewis McChord. So maybe a little bit of a heavier hooded jacket, a good idea, because we're dry right now, but we got this big conveyor belt of moisture and atmospheric river called a Pineapple Express coming at us from Hawaii again. And we're going to see rain increase. So by lunchtime, just starting to see the leading edge of the rain on the coast, and then it fills in throughout the region in the afternoon. And by the evening commute, we're pretty much soaking everywhere. Moderate to heavy rain on the coast, and then a rain shadow developing there, kind of squim to Port Townsend, but every now and then that fills in. Tomorrow morning still very wet, and you can see all the bright colors here in yellows on the coast and in the Cascade foothills. Notice it's all rain in the Cascades probably because snow level going up to 7,000 feet, maybe 8,000 tomorrow with the warm air coming on board. By 6 o'clock, tapering off a bit, but there's still rain on the coast. It's going to fill in overnight into a very wet and windy Saturday. So we've got some pretty active weather on the way. 50 for the high today, Seattle and Burien, 51 Bellevue and Redmond with rain filling in this afternoon and this evening. 51 Tacoma, Lakewood and Federal Way, about 50 for Olympia and Lacey, afternoon rain. To the north, rainy and breezy, but kind of windy through Bellingham and maybe Anacortes, 47 for Bellingham, 51 Anacortes, Arlington rather, and Mount Vernon, and 49 for the high in Everett today. Tomorrow, mild, 56 for that high, rainy, breezy, like I said, a high snow level, so lots of water coming into the rivers from the mountains. Expect some rivers rising. We'll know more tomorrow, but we got a flood watch posted for the region. Saturday, rainy, windy, 53, still mild, and then we start to get colder. 43 on Sunday, super Groundhog Day, with a good chance of rain, and then Monday clear, but these overnight hours are cold, so that Tuesday, when we go back to a chance of showers, it could start out as a little bit of rain, snow rather, before it changes over to rain. We'll have to wait and see. Cheryl and Anacortes sent us a lovely moment of zen here, the sunset through the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Little bench here where you can sit and look out and meditate. Adam, how's the commute?
You know, MJ, checking out what's happening right now on 410 close to Traffic Avenue, westbound 410 at Traffic Avenue, hearing of a possible new collision that we have to be watching for. And that, I'm not seeing backups for that yet, but I am definitely seeing that delay on Main and traffic. Here's what we have for drivers trying to move their way on the Valley Freeway northbound. Congestion out of the south end. Check that out. We're going to see all the headlights coming towards the camera here. That is northbound traffic still out of Puyallup and trying to squeeze your way north. Definitely going to give us that rough go. Southbound 5, southbound 405 still looking at close to between 65 and 70 minutes getting from Everett into Seattle, Everett to Bellevue, right in that same spot. North 5, Nisqually bogs down a little bit. We find Tacoma, northbound I-5, the wrestle from 16 getting up towards the Puyallup River Bridge. This heavier from earlier problems now clear. We find 512 in the Valley Freeway, just like I was saying, kind of that earlier backup continues. And again, 410, Traffic Avenue kind of giving you an idea of where that fits on the map for us. That might be a little bit more of a challenge. All right, delays extending for us, North 405 through the Renton curves. I-5 right around the Michigan curves. Checking in volume a little heavier, 520 and I-90, no surprises for us. Mountain passes, Stevens, Snoqualmie, White Pass, all currently no restrictions. Liz, back over to you.
Still ahead, a new bill may change the way drug testing impacts the hiring process, why it may help you get the job, but it might not help you keep it.
Also, Nordstrom made its name selling the latest, hottest luxury fashion. Right now, it's trying something a little different, selling used clothes. Why? After this.